Hello, my creepies. Hello, my creepies. Hello, my creepies. Hello, my creepies.
Hey Riggs, thank you for popping in. I hope you have a good night. Good evening, guys. Good evening. How are we this evening? Why is this wheel keep fucking with me? Hide wheel. Can't stand it. How is everybody? Happy hump day. Happy December 13th. And what is a better way to celebrate December 13th than to talk about Friday the 13th. Hi, LK. How are you? Hi, JJ. Hi, RC. How are you? I hope everyone's having a wonderful night. Deadwalk. Deadwalk. How are you, Deadwalk? Yes, so it is December 13th. And what a better night than talk about Friday the 13th and the Copycat Killer. Yeah, there was a Copycat Killer. But I do have a couple of things. I have some really cool things to tell you guys. Hi, Deadwalk, on the YouTube side of things and the Twitch side of things. Good, just chilling now that I get a holiday break and my entire studio is on break. So yay, that's awesome, LK. Awesome. Hi, Steve. How are you? I have some really cool news for YouTube, guys. You can't complain? Oh, I can complain, Deadwalk. I can fucking complain. But I'm not going to. We're just not going to. Look at my mug. Okay, so this is a color-changing coffee mug. When it's not have hot piping black-ass coffee in it, it's a little tamer. But with coffee in it, Jason's mask and blood that like pours all over it. Oh, okay, so well, we all could, but fuck it. Exactly. Custos, darling, how are you? How are you doing? That does it. I need to know where to buy that mug. This mug came from a place called EB Games. EB Games. And the shirt that I'm wearing is from Theater of Creeps. Theater of Creeps is a independent artist who creates some amazing artwork, and he puts some of his artwork on t-shirts. They're limited edition t-shirts, so he only sells X amount of them. After that, nobody else can get them, and I fucking love that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love Fright Rags. I love, Cavity Colors and Gutter Garbs. However, every motherfucker who loves horror owns one of those shirts. There's only 20 people who own one of these. So I prefer indie artists that no one else can really have. You know what I mean? I prefer that over the mass-produced licensed.
Jesus, but the screamiums will kill ya.
Jesus fucking Christ. Monkey Van Mowerton, thank you for your 34 months. Mwah, thank you, thank you. How are you, Monkey? How are you doing? American Nightmare Cosplay, hello. Ghoul Screaming, hello, Riggs. Have a good night. Thanks for popping in. EB Games. Well, we still have EB Games here in Canada. So I don't know about the States, but EB Games is still a thing here in Canada. And this is what we are at. Hello, where is Sean? How are you? Happy hump day. We literally had EB Games. Okay, so GameStop. Yeah, we still have them in Canada. Stay tapping. You want an air kiss? Mwah, stay tapping. How are you? Happy hump day. I grew up through that whole period. Yeah. And you still have them, Ashley girl? Right on. So I want to tell you guys some news about YouTube. Also, GameStop owns EB Games. Yeah, I kind of figured somebody owns somebody. We still have EB Games here. I don't think it's called GameStop here. It's EB Games the last time I went. Yeah, only GameStops. Well, same company, different name, I gather. Yeah, my name has changed. I know, American. I know. Celtic. No worries, Celtic. I hope you're well. Yeah, but they're very limited. Like the rare last blockbuster. Yeah, I get that. So tonight's stream is on Coffin Chat. We are discussing my theories and thesis on Part 1, Friday the 13th from 1980, because you know Friday the 13th is my favorite franchise. And we're going to talk about the copycat killer of Jason Voorhees. Did you guys know that he had a copycat killer? That there was. And we're going to discuss that tonight. But I got some really cool news for you guys. YouTube news, yes, whereas. So for those of you that know, I'm on YouTube. I live stream on YouTube and Twitch on a regular basis. I do a lot of horror related content on my YouTube channel, less gaming, more horror related stuff like movie reactions, reviews, etc. Right? Now, YouTube has allowed me as a content creator. Hello, monkey. I have been watching the franchise for years and seen all the movies, so I didn't know. Yeah. See, I'm the one to talk to if you want to know stuff about the Friday the 13th franchise. Trust me, I know a shit ton about it. We have 4 Where You Live. Nice, Ashley. Nice. So YouTube is allowing me 5 gifted memberships every month for free to give to you guys over on YouTube. So I thought that was really fucking cool. Back in the day on the platform that I made my debut content as a horror creator was Mixer. And every month Mixer gave us 2 free codes where we would give away a sub and Mixer Pro. YouTube, gotta give it up for YouTube, whereas YouTube is now gives creators like myself 5 gifted memberships to give out every month on the 1st of the month. These do not roll over. Right. These do not roll over every month. So you get 5 on the 1st of the month, and you can gift those 5 out on YouTube. No, I don't make any money off of it, which is fine, but it gives you guys a peek into the stuff that I offer for free, what I offer my YouTube members, which is completely different than my Twitch peeps and my fourth wall. It is really awesome. So YouTube is doing its thing. Yes, it is. Yay. I'm thinking about doing that soon when I get to partner. Well, they changed their partner rules, LK. So when I made partner on YouTube, you had to have like 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers. I made YouTube partner in less than a year. But they lowered all their stuff. So now it's more obtainable, especially for smaller creators. I'm a smaller creator myself. So especially for smaller creators, it's more obtainable now than it was when I went for partnership. It was not easy, partnership. My jaded cynicism can't help to think what they get out of this. The potential. So, Custos, let me explain to you. But girl, you are a badass. Thank you very, very much. Oh, so you're going to be twerking on the... Does this bitch look like I twerk? Pat. Yeah, I know. It's 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours. And thank you, Anti-Fly, for sharing. Oh, thank you so much for coming in and following the TikTok channel. I appreciate it. Shake it, baby. Right? I still 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. I'm up to date on this. Okay. No, I know they changed it. So 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours. That's more obtainable, right? That's more attainable than it was when I became partner. Heavy agrees. They changed. Yeah, I know they changed the Twitch guidelines. I personally don't give a shit. Those people that are watching topless streamers, yada, 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 they're not the same people who are going to come in here and watch me talk about horror. Totally two different type of people. And these guys and girls that are watching these types of streamers are not going to be watching an Apex streamer. So I don't really give a fuck about Twitch's guidelines. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. This chick's tits don't affect me in any way, shape, or form. So let the freak flags fly in my case. I don't really care. I need to post a pic of the Resident Evil art. Nice. Yeah, definitely put it into we have a few areas you can post that in. Yeah, wrong hype of horror. It is, right? So yeah, that's really cool of YouTube. YouTube is allowing us to have 5 gifted memberships. Memberships are like subs here on Twitch, right? So you're able to give someone a membership, and what that's going to do, Custos, YouTube really doesn't benefit from giving away any gifted subs, right? They don't get anything from that gifted membership. Basically, it's here to help the content creator create more of an income by showing potential members, when they get it for free, what they're in store for as a member of, example, my content. So on my YouTube channel, my YouTube members get behind the scenes stuff. They get comments and posts that nobody else can see. They get live stream one-on-ones with me as well. So we'll have game night, and Dead Walk, The Dead End, myself, Lament, Celtic, and a few others. We were playing a couple of nights ago. We played about a week ago. We played What the Dub in Discord and live streamed it for subscribers and memberships only. So there's a lot of perks that I offer YouTube members because the platform allows me to do that, where Twitch does not allow me to do that. The membership platform on YouTube allows me to do that. So the potential free membership could potentially turn that free membership into a reoccurring paid membership, and that's where YouTube would benefit from it. But YouTube takes a hell of a lot less than Twitch. So on YouTube, you get a bigger split, where Twitch is 50-50, and you don't get really any special perks besides emotes. YouTube is a 70-30 split. You get emotes and a whole bunch of shit on YouTube. And Fourth Wall, you get a 95-5 split. So I make 95%, the platform makes 5%. As a totally different type of perk and all sorts of goodies over on Fourth Wall. So what YouTube is doing, I think, is really cool, because we used to utilize that back in the day on Mixer. When they used to give us stuff like that. What the Dub Horde Edition was bonkers. It was fun. I had a really good time. We'll be doing another one. Maybe more of a Jackbox murder party come January. There's going to be a bit more member-only streams at, in the evenings. Let our hair down and get a little freaky. And by freaky, I mean, What the Dub and Murder Mystery. That's how freaky I get. Then it means they want to be Twitch, I guess. I hope this will spur Twitch to be more lenient, to say, I don't know about that. Quindy, how are you? I haven't heard of Mixer in years. That's where I started my career, Quindy. I am an ex-Mixer partner. I was the biggest horror content creator over on Mixer when Mixer was around. Hence how I made my partnership here on Twitch. I made partnership on Twitch 2 days after streaming on Twitch. My numbers on Mixer were really great. I was 20,000, almost 20,000 followers deep on Mixer when we came here. Hello, Elbon. I do too. Botan, how are you? How's your schoolwork coming? Yeah, that is freaky. That's freaky for me. Awesome, American. Awesome. I'll check it out after stream. I miss Mixer as well. Mixer was a great platform. I missed it 100%. But what YouTube is doing is basically tempting people that you get to see behind the scenes of things that you won't get to see as a non-member, enticing people to spend their money on their content creator, just like someone would do on Twitch or Fourth Wall or really whatever platform. So YouTube does benefit from it if someone does come back. However, if you come back as a member, yay. If you don't, yay. I get to show you some of the stuff that you won't get to see as someone who just randomly watches my YouTube channel, right? So it kind of it's a win-win, I think, for everybody, because you guys get to see some of the cool stuff that a non-member doesn't get to see. So we'll be doing that over on YouTube. I can only give it on YouTube. It can't be gifted anywhere else. Goddamn fucking wheel. All right, here's the wheel for heavy. I finished my finals. I am so happy to be on break. Congratulations. That's amazing. Just a little sample to see if you want to sub. Exactly, whereas. This fucking wheel. Yeah, I think it's cool, Steve. I think it's really cool. The chat will tell us double sours. I want to get double. I want to double. May the sour be with you. No, it not. No. Where is it? Where? It's freebie time. It's freebie time. So what that means? It's stream loots. Can we do a stream? We can do just throw out a stream loots link. I can do that myself as well. May the sour be with you. Now it landed on a freebie time. So freebie time is just a simple giveaway for stream loots. Whoever wants one, we'll just throw a link in the chat. I'll do that right now. That's what that means. Because I did change up the wheel. The wheel still has fucking sours on it. The wheel has sours. The wheel has warheads. And once I get this thing, there is this nasty thing. I know, it's always nasty. I always torture myself. I always give you guys things to torture me by. I found this new nasty sour shit that I am going to be ordering, and once it comes in, I'll add it. It's disgusting. It is not good in any way, shape, or form. But I do it because I know you guys get entertained by it. No, I will never love, never, ever, never, ever, ever love sour. I think it's disgusting. It is gross as fuck. But here we go. Here is I don't want to. There we go. I can only do Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, I don't like it at all. There's a link there, guys. Here's a link here. If you have Streamloots, just click the link. It'll give you a free chest. And yeah, they're all different types of chests. I don't remember what these are for, but usually they're probably random Streamloots chests. So there you go. There you go. If you have Streamloots, it's a great way to torture the shit out of me. But anyways, how you doing, Ben? Happy hump day. Okay. So let's get into the Copycat Killer of Friday the 13th. So here is the news article of, as you can see, if you're on TikTok down below, if you're here, right there. This did actually happen. Here a link, there a link, everywhere a link. Exactly. Just throwing them away. There's 3 different everybody can go and get a friggin' chesticle. Hello, Dracos. How are you? I should actually put them over on YouTube side of thing as well, because YouTube can utilize Streamloots as well. I keep forgetting that YouTube can. Yeah, okay, so a grocery store clerk who rented horror movies in his spare time by the name of Mark Branch seemed like any other teenager of the 1980s. Really, just a general average, teenager. However, the 19-year-old native of Greenfield, Massachusetts was anything but. On October 24th, 1988, he made his horror film's fantasy a reality by killing an 18-year-old college student while dressed as Jason from the film Friday the 13th, 1980. Which is weird because Friday the 13th, Jason does not get his mask until part 3. So the history of that is quite wrong. It may have been the 80s, and it was in 1988, yes, but Jason Voorhees' mask did not come out till part 3. However, by then, the part 3 mask was out there, right? Yeah. See, I know a lot about the Friday the 13th franchise, and people who write these fucking articles. Are we talking about the most Cannibal? He is not a deadite. How are you? No, it's not a movie. It's based on a real copycat killer. Oh, hold on. The copycat was a masshole. Definitely. And I've got my Streamloots up, so if anyone else. Look at that, Celtic. Oh, no, that's Botan. Botan redeemed, pick one person to end their sentences with zombie for 3 minutes, and Deadwalk, you're it. Thank you for the like over on TikTok. Okay, Friday the 13th part 3 was released, 1982. So that is what they meant by this. And I was reading the article about it, and I'm like, in 1980, Jason Voorhees wasn't even a part of the film yet, right? Jason was a part of the film, but not Jason with the iconic mask. He doesn't come into play until much later in part 3. In part 2, he has a potato sack as a mask. So they got that wrong, but I'm here to fix that. Anyways, he wore a Jason mask from Friday the 13th, part 3, that was released in 1982. He decided on October 24th, 1988, to create the Friday the 13th feel. Now, the unfortunate soul, her name was Sharon Gregory, and her mutilated body was found in her bathtub by her identical twin sister Cheryl, while Branch himself was nowhere to be found because he friggin' took off like a bat out of hell after he sliced her up. Her stomach, her chest, and her head was completely mutilated. Obviously, we're not going to show you pictures of that. Exactly, JJ. Greenfield, Massachusetts. This is where it happened. Greenfield, Massachusetts. Now, he literally mutilated her like it would have been in a Friday the 13th movie. A rod to rescue with facts. You got that right. Wait, so did the killer wear the bag or the hockey mask? The hockey mask. Because in part 2, it's the bag, but in 1980, the original film was released in 1980. That film was Pamela Voorhees, right? So Jason really isn't in the part 1. We have young boy Jason, who we get to see in daydreams and, going back in history a little bit. So it was part 3. So that's where they got that a little bit wrong. So they got the idea from this guy, actually, or he went back in time. Why not? Right? He did. He definitely did. He decided to dress up as Jason Voorhees, getting the hockey mask, wearing that, and then murderizing a young woman. Now, people reported seeing Branch skulking about the town, but the authorities initially had no luck in tracking him down. He was their prime suspect, so they were looking for him ever since the night of the 24th. This is a few days before Halloween, so they had no luck. The town literally shut down. They decided to cancel all the Halloween events that was planned to happen.
Do you want to play a game?
I do want to play a game. They shut down all of the events for Halloween, the children's events, the whole kit and caboodle. So the town did not have a Halloween at all. Now they learned, oh my Lord, Rage, what the fuck? Did you just shit yourself? They did learn one of the reasons why he murdered her, but we'll get into that here in just a moment. Now, Sharon, she was a psych major. This is what she was doing in college. She was in a university. She was doing a paper on the psychology of Mark Branch. She was doing a psych profile. And somehow Mark found out about this profile that Sharon was doing, and he did not want her to have it. He didn't like her having it, and he wanted it. He didn't want her to have it. Now, I don't know how he learned about this. There's no information in exactly how he found out that Sharon had done a paper on him. Maybe she had to tell him and she sat down with him and then she wrote it. And that's how he did it, or that's how he found out about it. It's like you're talking on a talkie dead walk, some zombie over and out. Hell, being living dead, shit happens. It does happen. Shit does happen sometimes. Always impressed that when Jason wore the bag, he could see. I know, right? He had one eye hole. Like, WTF. I have the mask actually for that one too. When you hang out with me, LK, I educate you on horror because I'm pretty good at educating people about horror movies and their backgrounds. This is actually very slightly parallel the last Batman movie, except he had her whacked himself. Oh, okay. So anyways, he didn't care for it and he didn't want her to have it. And so he decided to take it upon himself and murder her by dressing up as Jason Voorhees. Now, the town, this was huge for this little town. This town's not a big town, especially back in 1988. It's, Americaville, you know what I mean? Small town, everybody knows each other. This literally hit this poor town with a force, and they literally shut down. They actually interviewed a Video Expo rental store employee, which is in their little town no longer, but was in their little town in 1988. And they actually asked him about Branch. What did he rent? And the video store employee says strictly gore, period. The gorier, the better. Now, that sounds like me, right? More blood, guts, and ass on the screen, the better. But anyways, that's what the store clerk told the news reporter. And then they did a home search on Mark, right? So they went and ransacked his house. They found 75 horror films, which is nothing. They should see my collection, and 64 true crime books, as well as 3 knives, hockey masks, and a machete. So, of course, in 1988, Satanic Panic, you guys if you were alive in that time, like I was, you would remember a Satanic Panic. Fucking huge in the 80s and into the early 90s. And obviously anybody who watched horror there was something wrong with you. You were going to hell. You're demented, yada, yada, right? So you got to think about that in that mentality in 1980s. And this was 1988, the prime time of Satanic Panic. And everything else that was going on with music as well, because heavy metal, that whole thing going on, included in that with Satanic Panic. Raw may be on a watch list somewhere. Maybe. And if you played D&D, you were the Satan spawn. Yeah. I remember the crazy times back then, guys. If they looked at my house, could you imagine? Could you imagine if they stepped a foot in my house, what they'd fucking think? I've got a body. I got a fake body behind me wrapped up in bloody gauze. I've got fingers and ears all over the place. I got a fucking morgue right there to the side. I've got skulls all over the place. I have bones and skulls and jawbones and finger bones all over my fucking house, like everywhere, upstairs in my living room, outside on my steps. Like, you walk up my walk and underneath my steps are skulls. Let them come in. God damn, if they seen my murder basement, I got blood on the floor. I'm a messy bitch. Right? Slayer. Slayer was huge as well, right? Twisted Sister of all fucking bands. Now I checked and confirmed she ain't on no watch list. I remember the trials with Ozzy. Yeah. Yes. You can have a real body somewhere. Maybe we'll never know. That's for me to know. Don't outrah. In the horror community, we protect our own. We definitely do. It's all fake. My cannibal cookbook. As long as they don't look at my stuff. We're going to snooze this ad over here on Twitch. But anyways, let's get back to Mark Branch, the copycat killer of Friday the 13th. So the police set up a command center. Thank you, Botan. Thank you. They set up a command center in Buckland, Massachusetts after residents reported spotting Branch in town. Sorry, I'm getting text message. Ah, fuck. Neighbor man. Yeah, Dean Snyder was turning your children into Satanists. Of all people, you know what I mean? It's all good. Keep it quiet. I got your back. If you need to hide, hell, well, you know what? I'm then down. Nice. Ride or die. Okay. I like that shit. So people in Buckland, Massachusetts were saying, hey, we saw Mark Branch out here. We saw his car. So they set up a command post out in Buckland, Massachusetts. And they also seen him in Franklin and West counties. However, they did find Mark Branch's car abandoned on the edge of Greenfield Forest on November 28th, 1988. They found Mr. Branch dead, hanging from a tree. While his death was ruled a suicide, some believe locals dispensed vigilante justice to Branch. If they knew that it was Mark Branch that murderized this young woman violently, I'm all for vigilante justice. I don't know. That's just me. Ultimately, that urban legend continues to this day while the paper Gregory wrote about Branch remains missing. This was a story that you probably did not know much of. Mind you, it did happen in 1988. So it's really hard to know, that kind of history unless you're someone like me that actually looks for this kind of history, because I do. And I actually have a whole bunch of others that we're going to talk about in other Coffin Chats. So I have a whole bunch of other murders that are basically copycat killers or killers that were turned into and inspired by horror movies. I'm all for small town. Whereas I'm all for it. I think that the police do what they can. The justice system is so fucked up that they catch and release. These criminals are out on the street murderizing and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I am all for that. I am. Someone breaks into my house, you ain't leaving. I got chains. I got good chains and cement. I was literally a baby when that shit happened. Born in 88. Oh yeah. No, I was already running around causing hell. Raya's going full death wish. I like it. It's why we call it the murder basement, my friends. Why do you think I call it the murder basement? Also, when it's back then in the 70s, there was no Botan. Hence why the serial killer craze was happening in the 70s and the 80s. There was no DNA testing. There was no profiles. The profiles didn't happen until much later on, right? In the 70s, late 70s, that's when the Federal Bureau of Investigation started their behavioral unit. In the late 70s, this is already after Bundy and all of that jazz and what they were all doing. And you got to think about it. There was a lot of serial killers running around rampant, murderizing left, right, and center, and not giving a fuck because who's going to catch me, right? The majority of them, they get caught because they got messy, and some of them wanted to be caught. So you got that as well. Billy Lenz, there's so many. I mean, Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy, Ed Kemper, John Wayne Gacy, Dahmer. Oh, here's a quick little tidbit about Dahmer. Did you guys know that numerous music people like Eminem, Katy Perry, they created songs inspired by Dahmer? Yeah, I found that out too doing my little research. Some wanted to be caught. Yeah, state happened. Yeah. Some wanted to be caught, so they put themselves out there to be caught. It's insane. But I'm glad they get caught. Now, Mark Branch, that we know, that we were just talking about, I'm going to snooze this ad here again. Mark Branch, the guy that we were just talking about, this happened in 1988, so it kind of gets buried with everything, right? You're not really seeing this sensationalized in the news because it happened in 1988, and that's why not a lot of people know about it. You're also not going to know about it because they're not going to write about that in like IMDb for Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? Which got me thinking as I'm going through researching what I researched. Welcome, DJ Mark in the Dark. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. You're not really going to see these things in the newspaper right now, right? Slayer did too. Oh yeah, Slayer definitely did. Anything that was considered heavy metal was, you know, Satanists, right? But with this, I was researching and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool because I'm down a deep rabbit hole of Copycat Killers because that's what I was looking at. I was looking at Copycat Killers, and I wasn't expecting movie Copycat Killers. I was just looking at Copycat Killers because I was doing some research on my own time. Like I have this thing where I like to do that. I'm bored. Instead of reading a book, I research murder. So I'm sitting there and I found this article, and so this article led to another article, and it led to another article about the copycat killer of Friday the 13th. And I'm thinking to myself, this is kind of interesting. And I wonder how many people have spoken about it, how many people know about it. So that's why I figured tonight would be a great night to discuss it and discuss 1980, my theory on the beginning of Friday the 13th. As you know, I'm a huge Jason Voorhees fan. And I honestly do believe the very first few films in the franchise of Friday the 13th, Pamela and Jason are the victims. I know it doesn't seem like they're the victims, especially when you're watching it for the first time. You're seeing this person like murderize, chop up all these young people. But if you think about it, thank you, Celtic. I'll hydrate with some water. Quite a lot I've learned so far. Fascinating. Awesome, LK. I like sharing my horror knowledge. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, raw going down the rabbit hole, Deadwalk. It happens. I do. It's silly because some of the things that I find out, right? And then I share it with you guys on a night like tonight. So Friday the 13th, 1980, we know that Jason Voorhees is not the killer in this film. I know, spoiler alert, if you don't know that by now. You know, everyone looks at Pamela as the villain. And I don't see Pamela as the villain. As a mom, as a parent, I definitely do not see her as the villain. Whereas Sean, yeah, I always somewhat felt that way. They were the victims. And you know what? Not everyone will agree with me either, and that is fine. I don't expect people to see my point of view, but I want to give you guys an idea of what I think of Friday the 13th and how it all started. And we're going to go through these chapters on different coffin chats. I'm going to do part 2, part 3, my whole thesis and theory on the whole Crystal Lake as a whole. And the part that he's a revenant zombie and not a fucking deadite. Yeah, it was his mama. She killed them all. I even have my own thesis going from part 1 to part 2, but that'll be for another night. We're not going to discuss that tonight. We are going to discuss Pamela. And, you know, the first time I seen Friday the 13th, I was super young, 5 years old. You honestly don't know what's happening. And for people to tell me they knew what was going on at 5 years old, yeah, okay. At 5, you don't know what the fuck is going on TV. You're sitting there, you're watching this, you're like, okay, some guy in someone's running around murderizing people. You don't even realize what murder is. You have no idea. And that was the first time I seen it. So at that point in time, no, I had no idea what I was watching. And, well, I didn't get that idea there. Later on in life, though, I got to rent Friday the 13th from the VHS shop, and I seen it, and I'm just like, oh my Lord, this bitch is awesome. I loved Pamela Voorhees. And at that time, we already had part 1, part 2, part 3, right? We already had all of those. So I went to the VHS and I just started renting all of them and then watching them. It wasn't until a bit later do I realize how much of a victim Pamela and Jason really are. We're going to hit the snooze button. This is going to make for an interesting canon. Hold on, let me roll up here. An interesting canon fodder to be used if they seriously about making. Oh, that's already in production, LK. It's already in production. It's releasing in 2024, so we will be getting it. Yeah, I never cared. I was 5. Exactly, Ashley. And for people to say, I knew what was happening at 5 years old. No, you didn't. Don't care. I have kids. I've raised 2 children from infancy all the way up. At 5 years old, they have no fucking idea what's going on. So yeah. Shush, monkey, shush. At 5, that end jump scare. Oh my God. You know, there was a lot of things I kind of remember from that night, and my aunt, who was only about 16 when she was watching me, because I lived with my grandmother. My grandma took care of us. My mom worked during the day and went to night school so she can get a better education, so she can supply for us better. So I was mainly raised by my grandma, who she loved horror and war movies and MASH and Benny Hill and Johnny Carson. So that's what I grew up with. And so my aunt, who was 16 at the time, was watching us, and me and my sister was already asleep. And I was in my aunt's room, because that's where I had my little tent set up and shit. And they ran out of the room because they were scared. So my aunt, my 16-year-old aunt, and then my other aunt, who was a few years older than her, they ran out of the room because they got scared. They left my ass there the whole friggin' time. And when we get together and talk about these things, and how I like horror, because I'm really the only one besides my brother-in-law who just loves horror. Anytime we get together, they always tell that story. Hence why I know all about it at 5. I'm an old bitch. I ain't remembering everything at 5. Right. I hate when people say that as well. It's just ridiculous. If I got the adult jokes and the more subtle, sophisticated humor in Darkwing Duck, does it count as getting it as a 5-year-old? It depends. At Darkwing Duck, it was a good cartoon. I'm 42 and a half, and time I have no clue what the fuck is going on. Right? I know things happened. Some people still have no idea what's going on. Exactly, Deadwalk. So anyways, with Pamela, you know, much later on, as a young adult, I watched Friday the 13th, and I kind of empathize with Pamela. Even though I really liked Pamela as a younger person, I empathized with her more as a young adult. And then when I had my first kid, it really hit me, because I've watched Friday the 13th. I can't even tell you how many times. So it really hit me as a parent that, you know, if I was in Pamela's shoes and I was a camp cook and my kid was obviously the camp, when you work for the camp, they probably offer you free childcare because your kid can go to the camp for free. So you expect these camp counselors who know first aid and all this other happy horror shit to watch your children. So here she is doing her job as a single mom, getting that money so she can support herself and her handicapped child. And next thing you know, she finds out that her son, while she was working in the care of these counselors, her son dies. Her son was not just drowned by accident, he was bullied. And he was bullied so bad that they pushed him off of the dock. He backed up. I say they pushed him just because they crowd around him and they make him walk backwards. And then he falls into the lake and he supposedly drowns. Now, we're not going to get into the part 2 part of things. That'll be for our next time we talk about my discussion. So yeah, Pamela thinks her son is dead. She cracks. She loses it. Tell me that any parent wouldn't lose it. If you are a parent out there and someone just murdered your child, and I say murdered because he was in that sense, at that point in time in 1980, forget all the other chapters. As a parent, I think the majority of parents would want vengeance. And not only vengeance, but also the mental health. She was already stressed. She's a single mom. She had a handicapped son, which is a whole stressful on top of itself, especially back then when there was not a lot of resources. Hi, Stormy. I'm good. How are you? I never seen Jason as bad though. He's not. He's not. And God damn it, I can't snooze this ad break, guys. We're gonna have an ad in 55 seconds over on Twitch's side of things. Yes, we learn later on, Quindy, that Elias Voorhees is a womanizing, abusive son of a bitch. And we learn that later on. But right now, all we know is Pamela and her handicapped son. Right? I have PDF versions of the novels of Friday the 13th. Hi, Running Bear. How are you? I'm lucky if I remember yesterday exactly, right? Let alone what happened when I was 5. Yeah, same here, Deadwalk. I don't got that kind of fucking memory. You're not too bad. That's awesome, Stormy. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. I am fabulous. We're talking about Friday the 13th. We just got done discussing the Copycat Killer, Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, because yes, there was a Copycat Killer. You can catch that in the VOD if you want. But she cracked. You've been dealing with a lot of migraines. That sucks, Running Bear. I hope you feel better. Migraines blow. So as a parent, she cracked. She started murderizing people. And I think on Camp Crystal Lake, before we ever knew that there was a part 2, I believe beforehand that there was something wrong with that land. Now, we know Crazy Ralph, right? He tells everybody they're doomed. The place has got a death curse. He's like, listen, bitches, you're all gonna die. And he knew something about that place even before. I would really love to see in the prequel Crazy Ralph. I would love to know the backstory of Crazy Ralph. He's one of the characters in the first chapter that I would friggin' love to know more about. Right? All right, guys, we have an ad break. I'm going to stop and discuss something else here or just drink my coffee. We have 1 minute and 18 seconds. I just don't want anybody to miss out on what I'm going to say. So I do apologize on the Twitch side of things. Yeah, you know. Me too, whereas. Me too. Canadian Simmer, how are you, darling? How was your day? Ad break will end in like 54 seconds. Jason got a raw deal with all those bratty kids in the first movie. Well, in the first movie it was Pamela Voorhees, right?
The are great, but the screamiums will kill ya.
Thank you so very much, Ashley girl. Thank you so very much for re-sacrificing that gorgeous soul of yours for 2 months. Mwah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I do. 25 seconds and counting. Got a tattoo today. Hung out with my boyfriend. What did you get tattooed on ya? Are you going to put pictures in the Discord? How many tattoos do you have, Canadian? 10 seconds and counting. I'm glad that this thing gives us a rundown of how long an ad is. Pennywise, and I lost count. Right on. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Sorry about the friggin' ads that you guys just got. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we were just talking about Crazy Ralph and how I would love to have a backstory, and that, you know, Friday the 13th prequel that's coming out on Peacock. I think I just like saying Peacock, is coming out in 2024. No full-on release date, but sometime in 2024. I'm really hoping that in the prequel, we get a little bit of background on Crazy Ralph. Crazy Ralph is a character I want more information on. I cannot wait, Ashley. I cannot wait. No worries, Running Bear. Welcome over to the Twitch side of things. I appreciate you over on the TikTok side of things. Now, Crazy Ralph is, yeah, he's the character that I would love to know more about. I don't know about you guys. When you guys watch Friday the 13th, is there any characters that you want to know more of? And there was this movie that I was watching, and I was like, that guy would be perfect to play a young Crazy Ralph. I can't remember his name now, but I was, I even said that out loud. I'm like, that guy would be perfect for a young Crazy Ralph. You know, a backstory on him. I would love to know more of the land on Camp Crystal Lake. He just posted a picture in all pics. Thank you very much, Canadian. I will definitely check it out. Probably the Final Girls. What the fuck are you talking about? Probably the Final Girls? You want more backstory on the final girls? Heck, the final girls. Why they always choose blonde women except for Friday the 13th Part 3? Could be a good question. I know back in the 80s, blonde hair, blue eyeshadow was a thing. Blondes were a hot commodity back in the 70s and the 80s. Who doesn't, Pat? Who doesn't? I know gay men who love titties, so. But blonde hair, blue eyeshadow was the thing of the 70s and the 80s. And that's possibly why they picked blondes. I don't really know why they picked blondes, but with that, I would want more on Crazy Ralph. I want to know more about Camp Crystal Lake and the land. That we know that land had a death curse. We know there was something wrong with that land. We don't find that out till much later on. However,
The benefits are great, but the screamiums will kill ya.
Aurora, thank you so very much for sacrificing your soul. Holy shitballs, 33 months. Mwah. Thank you very, very much for that. I appreciate it. Barbara Crampton alone makes it worth it. I like Barbara Crampton. She's nice. How are you, Aurora? How is your day going? Happy hump day. We're just talking about Friday the 13th. My discussion on it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. B Bun Bun. Thank you so very much for sacrificing your soul for 3 months. Mwah. I hope you are doing well. Happy hump day. Happy hump day. You're doing all right. You just got home from work. I hope work was well. I hope it was well. We are discussing Friday the 13th. My theories on things, and we earlier in the stream we talked about the Friday the 13th Copycat Killer, because there was a Friday the 13th Copycat Killer. Yes, there was. Cannot believe I sold my soul again to you for 3 months. I appreciate it. Your soul is very tasty. Just to let you know, it's like mwah, chef's kiss. But how are you, Beam? How is everything? I hope you're well. Holidays are coming up. But Pamela, for me, is a victim. And yes, she murdered a bunch of teens that really had nothing to do with her son's murder. Remember, we're not talking about chapters 2 and beyond. Forget that chapters 2 and beyond exist. This is just 1980, Friday the 13th. We know nothing of part 2 or beyond, okay? So I know the murder of her son happened a decade or so ago, before her murders, but then she started murderizing people because the camp was opening again. And when you think about it, somebody who has a broken mental health, she broke, her son's dead, he was supposed to be watched, but teenagers, camp counselors, they weren't doing their job. So she mentally breaks, never got the mental health that's needed, because come on now, we all know back in the day, mental health was a taboo. It didn't exist. Nobody wanted to talk about it, so they shoved it underneath the rug. Have you heard of Camp Crystal Lake, the comic? Yes, I have the books. Where they give a super light-hearted version of accounts, and it's like super shrimpable. There is actually a lot of good information. If you've ever read Friday the 13th novels, there's a couple of out there. There's quite a few out there. They're really good. They give you some insight as well to the whole thing. The comics, of course, not canon, but they add to their very own lore to it. And then, between all the fandom and all the shit that goes on between fandoms, if they were to explore the death curse on Camp Crystal Lake, they'd probably take the easy way out and say it was a Native American curse. Well, we do know that the first people, Native Americans, you never know, they could do it that way. Or I don't really know how you would spin that. How would you spin that? What are your ideas? What would you say the land was cursed with? I don't know. I'm going to really have to think about that one, Deadwalk. What would I do? What story would I create? Well, witch's story. I think that's what I would do. 1970s, yeah, no mental health. No, none whatsoever. None in the 80s, none in the 90s, none in the early 2000s. just more on Pamela, Elias, and Ralph. Would also like to see how she was treated on the daily while working at the camp. That would be very interesting to know as well. I definitely want more on Elias. I know quite a bit about Elias. There's a lot of information about Elias, and maybe one of these days that I will go through the Pamela Elias information. Maybe that'll be in another chapter of my Friday the 13th discussion in theory, because we're going to do all the chapters, and I'm going to give you my theory and what my fandom is and what I think of Friday the 13th. And hopefully one of these days, Lament Pixie will join me, because she is just as a big fan of Friday the 13th and knows quite a bit about the fandom as well. I would definitely like to know more about Pamela. I don't want to go too far back about Pamela, because we really don't need to. I would definitely crazy Ralph like a mofo. I really want to know what that motherfucker had. I hope not for a Native American curse. Who knows? But like Deadwalk said, a Native American curse is the easy way out. What would you do, Running Bear? What lore would you come up for the curse on Camp Crystal Lake? All right, before it was Camp Crystal Lake. Obviously, something had to happen on that land, because it's not just that one area where Jason drowned, it's the entire camp. And I know you're going to say, well, and Jason goes this way, and Jason versus Freddy, he leaves Camp Crystal Lake. So what is that? I'll tell you what that is. That is what's called a revenant zombie. A revenant zombie comes back from the dead because of revenge and the deep love that they had for the person who was murdered, which makes perfect sense with Jason seeing his mother's head get cut off by Alice in part 1. Obviously, he takes her head and puts it in her refrigerator. Alice is like, what the fuck is this? How did Jason know where Alice lived? Who knows? Who knows? A fucking puppet came down from the sky and told Jason. I don't know. I have my own theories on that, but again, we won't talk about that till part 2 discussion.
See what your insides look
Hi, Bun's husband here. I studied forensic psychology and honestly love Friday the 13th. I think she was a victim of society and deception. If you consider the lack of mental health, yes, and the fact that she was already traumatized by how society saw women at the time, exactly, single mom, right? Single mom, that was fucking frowned upon. Loss of a child, hold up here, traumatized by society saw women at the time, and add the loss of a child, add that to the whole curse situation, deception. She was definitely a victim, but does not justify the unaliving. It doesn't justify it. No, not in any way. I'm not saying she's right. Anyway, my wife loves you, and I got excited you were talking about this. Awesome. It's nice to meet you, Beam Bun Hun husband. Thank you for coming in and giving us that insight. I definitely agree with you. 100% agree with you. I am not a forensic psychologist. Hi, Sniping. How are you? Good evening. I just am a huge fucking fan of Friday the 13th. And I see, from my eyes, difference than other people would see Jason and Pamela. They see them as villains. I don't. And I don't see every Jason as a victim. Okay. Just let me put that out there right now. It doesn't, her unaliving, murderizing things it's not justified by her actions. Murder is wrong in any way, shape, or form. However, I do agree with you at 110%. Anyway, hi, wife loves you, and I will give her back her computer now. It was very nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Where did the real Camp Crystal Lake take place in the book? Oh, gosh, I am not sure. I know in New Jersey is where it's at, right? In New Jersey. I cannot remember the name. He literally shoved me. I love it when people come in and talk about that, especially somebody who has studied that stuff, right? I'm going to bite his booty later. You get that booty. But that's awesome. That is really awesome. I love hearing from a professional, their insights on it. And I do agree 110%. Back then, in that time, single women with a child were frowned upon. They were considered the low of low. You have a child and you're not married. Oh my God. On top of that, mental health. Who knows what her mental health was before Jason passed away? Now, having a son who's handicapped, he's not just physically handicapped. He's also mentally handicapped, and he has issues. And back then, a single mom taking care of a child was hard enough. She's now taking care of a child who has disabilities and numerous disabilities. So, life was hard, and doctors were probably not able to help her. And you got to think about the era that time is in, right? Mental health was not a friggin' thing, and you were looked down upon, and society as a whole looked down upon women. Women looked down upon women who had babies that weren't married, right? Rob, perhaps you could get a psychologist or some expert to come on CCOH or Coffin Chat to do a pro character analysis. That would be great. I think that would be pretty awesome, Deadwalk. I'll see if B-Bum's husband wants to do it. If only Twitch was around, Pamela could have used her artistic talents. Maybe. But yeah, I believe that, Pamela was a victim throughout the first chapter of Friday the 13th, losing a child at the age of 11 to 12 years old. You think your child's being protected, and literally gets bullied to death. So, no, was she right in murderizing all those young people? Obviously, no. I get it, though, as a parent, especially if your mental health isn't 110%. You're already dealing with shit. You come from an abusive marriage. You got to remember, Elias Voorhees was a womanizer, and he was abusive. So not only did she have the stresses of a single parent, but she also has PTSD from her past relationship with Jason's father. I'll ask him. He's weird about it. I'm an educated, oriented psychologist. I just never got certified. I'm down for if anybody wants to. If you have that kind of background, I would love to talk about that, because I don't have that background in psychology. Not at all. Not an iota of it. If not, I can ask around. Definitely. I would love to hear from a psychologist or a psychiatrist or somebody who studied that, their opinion on the matter. Now, I know, like Jason, you can't compare him to Freddy Krueger, and you can't compare him to Michael Myers, because Michael Myers is a totally different level, and Michael is not a victim. Neither is Freddy. Freddy was a nasty son of a bitch who deserved what he got. Did you see that at one point they were going to make a remake of Friday the 13th, and it was going to have Jason's father? Hence why Friday the 13th Vengeance, an indie film, did one with Elias Voorhees. Don't want to get ahead, but after the drowning incident, didn't Jason die, or did he survive and live in the shed? I never got that clear. Whereas, Sean, there is no clear story on where Jason was between the time he passed at the age of 11, 12 to the age of 40. Because if you look at the timeline and how things happen, Jason is about late 30s, early 40s when part 2 happens. And he's a big SOB at that time, right? There is no clear, this is what the creator said happened to Jason, because actually part 2 was a whim, and Victor Miller really didn't have much in that. Sean Cunningham, however, he helped create the rest of adult Jason. Hi, Don Peel. How are you, darling? Trauma from being left and abandoned, trauma from having a disabled child, trauma from society's view on her, trauma from being a single mother is a massive amount of trauma without a support system. 110%. At least nowadays we have some sort of, it's better than what it was. I'm not going to say it's perfect, because it is not perfect, but at least now it's not a taboo, right? It's still a taboo for men's mental health, which is still a huge fucking issue, and that still gets brushed underneath the table, because men's mental health is just as important as a woman's mental health. But we're getting there, and we are getting better. I just wanted to put that out there for, mental health in today's world. Today there is still, there is still a lot of taboo, but it is being discussed more. Well, here where I live, it's a pretty big thing, mental health. It gets talked about a lot here. We have a lot of help. We have a lot of helplines. Psychologists here are free to talk to. Depending on what province you're in as well. You get social counselors that are, so you have social counselors, psychiatrists, and psychologists. When you go to your family doctor and you say, hey, I have some issues that I'm dealing with, they will refer you to a psychologist or a psychologist, and those will be covered under your regular health care that you don't pay out of pocket for. The only ones you pay out of pocket for are psychologists and psychiatrists that don't get referred to by a doctor, so you don't have to have money, right? You go into your walk-in clinic, you tell them that you're having these issues, you tell them what your problems are, they refer you to a psychologist, psychiatrist, or a counselor. One of the three, depending on where you are at. They then do an assessment with you and you talk to them. Then you can go back to them on a regular basis. So I gather it's where you live in the world that, I don't know if you guys have that in the States. I'm in Alberta, Canada. And I know in BC, they have free counseling as well. And it's actually good counseling. It's not, free counseling from some guy on the street corner. These are actually licensed, certified psychologists, psychiatrists, and counselors. I can't speak about the United States because I do not live there and I don't know what they have for mental health. You're good. I have having lunch before I go get my hair done. Ooh, done peel. I want to see pics. But definitely, and I agree, that whole trauma thing is 110% on Pamela. Now, whereas you're saying, what did Jason do? What I think Jason did, honestly, I think Jason, he did drown, but survived the drowning and didn't. I would say the whole Friday the 13th only takes place within a couple of days. Okay, think about that. It's not an entire summer. It's a couple of days. So I think, as someone who has drowned before, so what happens when you drown and you survive a drowning? Majority of the time, you don't remember past the silence. It's a very weird thing. The panic kind of stops and everything just gets quiet. You don't panic anymore when it's weird. So when you're first starting to drown, you start to panic, but then you just sink. And when your lungs fill up with water and you can't breathe, it is a different kind of calm. Your body just stops. It's a strange sensation to feel. I think Jason survived his drowning, but was in sort of like a coma, not really a full coma, but from lack of oxygen to the brain, already handicapped, already had disabilities, right? We don't know fully what other physical health disabilities he had. We do know he was deformed. We do know that he had mental health issues as well. But what I think is he passed out from the drowning. He drowned, but he survived it somehow, brushed up on a shore somewhere, was out like a light for a period of time. Disoriented, he gets up. He kind of trying to figure out what's going on, just in time to see his mother's head get lopped off by some chick on the beach. Remember, Jason seeing this, and this is my fandom, my theory. Jason seeing this as a young child, that's where we start having the discrepancies. Example, you mentioned you live in a city. I'm from Mexico City originally. Both being major cities is a bit more progressive. There's more discussion. Now, 2022, I moved to a small town in Kentucky in the U.S. where the men don't cry mentality is very present because it's a very old population mixed with very young people from the college I definitely get that. Men's and women's health here is still shitty. I'm not going to say it's great. However, our mental health has been better. It's been getting better here where I live. I live in a small town. I call it a city. It's a small fucking town. We have, we don't have a lot of the stuff here that our big cities have. But I get that. And I understand small town America. I get the mentality. I 100% get you there. It is very traumatic. Okay, because that would be a good lore point with Camp Crystal Lake. Like, if the land it was built over, maybe looked over Jason all those years, could explain how he survived in the woods without his mom. Just putting ideas out there since you guys brought up what maybe happened before Crystal Lake was made. And you know what? This leaves a lot of lore open right now, which is a good thing and could be a potential bad thing. There's a lot of fandom and a lot of theories on how things happen between part 1 and part 2. I do like the idea that the land nurtured him. The land was his mama. I love that idea because I'm a naturist and I honestly believe, yeah. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. I think it was bullshit how much Jason got bullied in the movie. It happens, though. It happens. Bullying happens, and even happens as an adult. I'm just playing some TCM, nice Canadian. And this is the state of Waverly Hills Sanitarium. So mental health is very taboo. Yeah. Ugh. I hope you're having a good time. Are you murderizing people, Canadian, or are you kind of like running away from the family? Are you trying to be a final girl, or are you murderizing? Hopefully you're murderizing. Have you played Danny yet? But back to Jason. Whereas I think Jason did drown, but he survived it. Woke up maybe a day or two later, trying to find his way, disoriented, traumatized from the drowning, not understanding what's going on because he obviously isn't 110%. You know what I mean? So he finally finds where his mom is, sees her head get lopped off, realizes, oh shit, my mother just was murdered, right? Runs off into the woods, and he lived in a camp. His mom worked for a camp, so he had to retain some knowledge. Just because he's handicapped and disabled doesn't mean he doesn't have the means to remember how to start a fire, how to hunt, how to get food, how to do these things. Just because he's disabled doesn't mean he doesn't understand or hasn't learned some of the things in the camp, right? Because sometimes, most of the time, when people have a disability, they have things about them that they can be so fucking amazing with, right? Like, it blows my mind. I think it's really awesome that they're gifted in certain things as well. And we are being raided by Draven Raw. Why come my raid shit didn't go off? Nobody heard anything, right? I didn't hear anything. Welcome, Draven Raw. Thank you so very much for the raid. On that note, let me play my raid scene for you. How are you, darling? Just putting a dick in my hand. I'm not having a dick on my forehead.
It's a raw cacacorn. It's a cacacorn.
Good morning, my daywalkers. I am ReAnimateHer, your queen of horror. And this is Coffee Chat of Horrors. Can you hear my video? Only horror show that takes its coffee like it's magic, and that is black.
You're not getting cake, bud. No.
Keep happening. That blue bitch. Who the fuck is that blue bitch? Oh, you fuck your mother. Oh, fuck you, you piece of fucking hobo Joe bullshit. Oh, I just got a fucking zombie sniper fucking ball shot. Oh, Jesus Christ, mischief maker. Right across where that is. Did you guys hear the video? That's what she said. That is, guys, if you haven't checked out Miss Draven Rawl, there is a link in the chat as well as up top on your chat itself. There's you click that little thing right there. That will give her a follow. If you haven't checked her out, please head on over to the link. Check out her VODs, her profile. If you vibe with it, hit that follow button. Oh, my Lord. You almost fucking got me, monkey. I felt my heart. You almost got me. Of course, Draven. How was your stream? A little tired? I feel you. I was pretty drained today myself. I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee. Believe it or not, I only drink 1 cup a day, but I was so dog-ass tired and exhausted that when I got home from work, I even looked at Heavy and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have the energy to even stream tonight. I'm not sure about following that Dravenwall person. I know. She's a little feisty, hey? Watch Five Nights at Freddy's. All I could think about was Ross saying, "Who's that blue bitch?" That blue bitch scared the shit out of me. Stream was good. I had therapy today, and that was also so mentally draining, but I know it's best. It is best, and I'm glad you're taking care of your mental health. I think it's a very important thing, and I don't frown upon speaking about mental health at all. I think it needs to be spoken about more often. But I'm glad you're taking care of yourself mentally and physically, because when you take care of yourself mentally, you're taking care of yourself emotionally, and you're taking care of yourself physically. So good on you, Draven. We are just discussing Friday the 13th. We spoke about Friday the 13th Copycat Killer from 1988, because that happened. And now we're talking about the first chapter in the franchise, Jason and Pamela. I was just giving a little theory on where I think Jason was between the time his mom died and part 2. Bonnie is that blue bitch. Yeah, Bonnie, whatever. Zach, how are you doing? You're loving the new Hunger Games. Nice. It's crazy how it makes you so tired on therapy day, because it's not just mental, Draven. It's not just mental. That trauma lives in your body, in your energy. It harnesses inside of your soul. That's why when we talk about things and we release things, we feel much lighter, because our energy is being cleaned. Zach, I hope you're having a good day. I hope your mom is well. I hope everyone in your family is doing great. Happy hump day. Good evening. Therapy it takes a lot out of you. As you know, I only now learning about horror. That I do, Draven, that I do. And I'm glad that you're learning about it. But mental health is not just mental. It's emotional and it is physical. And when we sit and have our therapy sessions, whether it's talking to your friend on the phone or talking to a certified professional, that feeling of lightness, that feeling of draining as well is tiring, because mental health is a physical attribute. It affects you on every level, not just emotionally, not just mentally. It affects every facet of your life. And that's why it's so fucking important for you to talk to somebody, whether or not you don't think it's manly or you don't think it's, strong. It doesn't make you weak. Bullshit. It makes you stronger. Okay. Much, much stronger. Everyone's doing pretty good. Awesome, Zach. I know most of the animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's. Right on, Don Pia. I don't know them. I don't really know them. That blue bitch scared me. I think I'm going to take an opportunity to retire early tonight. Seems like a great idea. Good night, Beasto. Have a great sleep. Sweet screams. My geneticist says conditions like fibromyalgia is related to trauma many times. And who knows? I'm not a doctor, so I really can't, give my opinion on that, because I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I do believe that our physical and mental health and emotional health go hand in hand. So I do believe we can manifest things in our bodies by holding on to hate, by holding on to jealousy, by holding on to feelings that aren't happy feelings. And I think those can fester in us and cause physical ailments. I'm big on that. I believe that the things that we hold on to, hate, grudges, jealousy, fear, I believe it all rots inside of us and becomes a festering wound. And if we don't take care of it, that festering wound turns into pus and gets infected and infects the whole body. Just like stress is a killer. Stress affects the heart. I think holding on to things like that also affect us. But we do have an ad. It's going to end here in 27 seconds. I do apologize. Also, ReAnimateHer. I asked a question about Jason. Oh, I'm sorry. Jason is Bear Gyles kind of guy. He lives off in the wilderness. For those who are suffering from mental health issues, remember that it's okay not to be okay. It is okay not to be okay, Don Peel. 100%. Question: due to Jason having a deformed face and head, is Jason missing a part of his brain? He very well could be, but nowhere in the lore does it say that Jason is missing a part of his brain. He could, Don Peel, because we do know that you can have parts of your brain can have brain damage and be dead. You don't have to have a fully functioning brain to be alive, right? Good evening, Maeve. How are you? I agree, but I also think the Christian concept of having to forgive everyone has been a lot of damage to me as well. I'd rather let go of the pain and just cut people one off. No, exactly. Hello, nerdy darling. How are you? How are you doing, Maeve? Happy hump day. Happy hump day. So back to recap. We're talking about Friday the 13th, 1980. Pamela, we're in a part right now where I'm saying my fandom on where Jason was from the age 11, 12 up until he was 40 years old, which comes into part 2. Nerdy darling, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Good, Maeve? Awesome. I am well. I am really well. I'm actually feeling good right now because I'm hanging out with you guys. Hello, Zombie Box Reviews. I was dog-ass tired when I got home from work, and I was a little unsure if I was going to do my stream because I was dog-ass tired. But again, when I hang out with you guys make me feel better mentally, emotionally, and physically. So thank you. I was looking on Google if there could have been a curse on the land. There could have. There is no, put it to you this way, there is no definite answer whether or not there was a curse. There is no definite answer whether what Jason was doing from the age of 11, 12 to 40. However, there is fandom. And fandom, I think, is amazing because it helps bring out the lore. There are books on Friday the 13th. They give a little bit of insight, but they really don't deep dive into other parts. This is where the fandom comes out. This is where we're allowed to come up with what we think may have happened. Yeah, basically, Dunpeel. They wanted a ripoff of Halloween. That's how they got Friday the 13th. I really have a chance to catch these streams live, so it's nice to catch one live. Awesome. I'm glad you catch us live, Zombie, when you can. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking the time out and popping in here and chatting with us.
ReAnimateHer.
I gotta scroll up here. Have we discussed the... No, he is not a Deadite. That'll be for another video because we're only talking about part 1, 1980. Traumatic brain injuries can play a lot into real life killers. Oh, 100%. I think that's something that definitely can be explored in horror as well. I believe 100%. If you think about it, Draven, if you watch a lot of true crime, you have a lot of doctors that say so-and-so was dropped on their head. So-and-so had a head injury. The majority of serial killers, Ted Bundy, Ed Kemper, John Wayne Gacy, all had trauma to the brain. I'm doing good, just tired. Jeffrey Dahmer had trauma to the brain. I'm good, just tired being Santa for one night. I really want to cosplay as Killer Santa from Silent Night. I think you should friggin' do it. I think you would be great at it. The Horde is like an amphetamine enema right up the ass, eh, Ra? It is, Deadwalk. It is. All right, Reanimator, I have to go now. It's time to get my hair done. Have a fantastic today. I am having a wonderful today, Dunpeel. Enjoy yourself getting your hair did. I love to see a picture of it when it's done. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your, what is it? It's Thursday by you now, right? I hope you have a great Thursday. Dunpeel is in Australia, by the way. That's when he became a Deadite. No, he did not come here fucking Deadite. God damn it. As much as fun as this Celtic, go to sleep. Sweet screams. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time and your energy. Get that rest, woman. But yeah, he doesn't become a Deadite. I believe Jason did drown, but he survived his drowning. He washed up on shore, passed out for a little bit, because I know when I drowned, there was a time that is blank for me. I remember panicking. I remember going down. I remember not being able to breathe. I remember the feeling of suffocation, but then I also remember the feeling of complete silence and calm. And I know that sounds really weird, but it is silence and calm. And then there's a part I don't remember anything. It's nothing. I just remember waking up on land and having the woman over me. That is what I remember. So I honestly think he did drown and he washed up on shore. I actually was pulled out of the water. I didn't wash up on shore. I drowned. They saw that I was drowning. They grabbed me. They got me on land. Anyways, with Jason, I think he did. He went down, he filled up with water, somehow washed up on shore, and was out for a block of time, waking up, disoriented, not knowing where he is. It's nighttime. What the fuck just happened? Traumatized from the actions of earlier that day or the day before, comes to try to find his mother. The best way he knows how is just looking around for her, finds this woman with a machete fighting his mother. He knows nothing that his mother is going around murdering people. He's just like, oh my God, there's my mother, the woman who takes care of me, who loves me unconditionally. Her head just gets lopped the fuck off. Think about that. Think about being a kid, not knowing the story of earlier that your mother is murderizing people, and all you see is this person lopping your mother's head off with a machete. Are you going to go over to this person and say, hi, what'd you do to my mom? No, at 12 years old, you're probably going to fucking run, and you're going to run for the woods or wherever it's going to be safe. And I do believe that Jason learned while being at the camp how to start a fire. Because back then, I don't know if you've ever been to camp, which I have. Back then, you learned how to use bow and arrow. You learned how to use knives. You learned how to start a fire. You learned how to find food. You learned these things that allowed you to survive when you were at camp. I believe Jason took that knowledge and utilized it to the best of his ability. That's why when you see the shack that is built, the shack has a lot of different things to it. I think it was a dilapidated shack to begin with, and he just made it more of a home for him. And that's where I think he lived all that time. Now, all that time, Camp Crystal Lake was dormant, right? We know that nobody went to that lake because it was closed. And then all of a sudden in part 2, they're reopening the camp, right? And now these people are trespassing. Trauma for Jason, right? All he sees is these young people coming back, all that jazz. Now, how did he find Alice's house in the opening of part 2? I'm not really sure how we can come up with that, to be honest with you. No internet back then. He didn't have the fucking yellow pages delivered to his shack. I don't know. I think, what time is it? 8 o'clock? Oh, we might go to 8:30-ish, possibly, dead walk. But if you have to go, I get it. I understand you got work the next day. Dravenroll is saying, I had a near-death experience. My heart stopped after my last baby. I had a hemorrhaged heavily. I had a complete calm feeling as I looked down at my body. I'm not quite sure why some experience panic and others experience calm. I don't know either, Draven. I don't know. They need more blood when they chopped her head off. Closed camp resort is a magnet for teens. It really is eccentric. It really is. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. Sex, drugs, and campfire. Reegs, welcome back. Well, I'm here while we drive back home. Welcome back. I hope you had a good time. Hope you had a great time, actually. Kratos, welcome Kratos. How are you? Just sitting down. That's disgusting. You're just sitting down for the day. WTF. Lurking until I'm back from my second job. Waves, friends. All right, we'll be here. We'll be here, Kratos. Hope you're having a good night. That is your ringtone. That is she Kratos's entrance. Oh my God, those kids were screaming for no reason and disrespectful. Children's birthday parties suck. Yeah, Riggs, they do. My niece was great. She was awesome. That's awesome, Regal. I'm glad to hear that. I'm here too to the end. Just wondering when Mars should bug off. Yep. Deadwalk is always here till the end. Like, seriously. But I always tell Deadwalk that they can go if they have to. Not a birthday, a choir concert. Yes. Choir concert. That's right. You said that earlier. Every time I hear kids screaming, I think of birthdays. Now, going from Jason part 1 to part 2, I don't really know what we can say. How he found Alice's house. That stumps me. Even as a fan, as a big fan of the franchise, I still can't come up with a way that he would know where she lived. Like, he lived in a shack on a goddamn camp. No yellow pages were delivered, because yes, there were yellow pages and white pages back in the day. I don't know, do they still exist? However, he didn't have an internet. He didn't have a cell phone. There was no Google fucking Maps. Like, there was no nothing, right? So how did he find Alice's house? Like, how did he hunt this bitch down? I ain't got no answers for you on that one. No matter what I think of, it still doesn't make any fucking sense. Hey, I'll reconsider what I consider disrespectful after dealing with two of my own children that my ex has brainwashed, has completely shifted what I consider normal and just outright disrespectful. Is talking about Jason. I love Evil Dead 2 a whole lot, not even 10 minutes before my sweaty from boxing kicking your ass. Monkey's trying to say that Jason's a deadite. And no, that's a whole other stream because yes, we will get to that one. We will get to that one, and I will wear my heart monitor for that one. I think he smelled her blood. I don't know what or how he did, but anyways, that is for another video. Maybe not having answers makes it even scarier. Exactly, and it does. You think about it. How did this guy find her? Nobody really knows. I am excited for that action from Evil Dead at this summer, the 2024. I'm excited. Alyssa Sutherland from Evil Dead Rise will be at the Calgary HorrorCon this summer coming. June 15th to the 16th of 2024 in Calgary, Alberta. And I can't wait. But yeah, that's what I think. Where is Sean? Because I was answering where is Sean, like, because where is Sean asked earlier, you know, what is my thoughts or what does people think where Jason was? Did the land take care of him? You know, was this something that someone maybe found him and nurtured him, or did the land nurture him themselves? Maybe the prequel of Camp Crystal Lake will shed some light on the subject. I don't know, but there's a lot of lore that can be utilized here in the prequel. What my hopes and dreams are for the prequel, I don't really want to go back in time to Pamela. However, I do want to know a little bit of Pamela and Elias Voorhees. We know because if you read books and fandoms and you've seen Friday the 13th, Vengeance 1 and Part 2, and you know, you're in that world, you know that Elias Voorhees was a shitty human being. Unoriginal player. Unoriginal player. Welcome to the crypt. Thank you for the follow. So anything going with the Friday 13th, it's going to be gone December 2024. It's like how Michael Myers figured out how to drive a car. Right, Deadwalk. I know. Maybe they had gaming consoles. I don't know. I like answers though. I didn't feel like they explained Michael enough in the first movie. Granted, I have not gotten. So there's a lot more. Draven, there's a whole fucking lore about Michael Myers and the Thorn. Okay, Michael was born evil. Now, the difference between Michael and Jason: Michael is not a victim. Somewhat not a victim. But that's a whole other friggin' thing. I have a theory on Michael as well. But that's a whole other discussion. Well, if the land is cursed, it might have nurtured him while giving him superpowers. I don't think... So hear me out here. I don't believe Jason becomes supernatural until about Part 3. So I don't think he has superpowers in Part 2. He's not supernatural in Part 2. Damn, that whole thing of finding Alice's house, I never really thought how that didn't make sense at all. Right, whereas I know the kills, I love Jason X. You like the kills in Jason? I love Jason X, and I think there could be a sequel there for Earth 2. Honestly, I do, and I think I need Todd Farmer, the original writer of Jason X, to do Part 2, which is Earth 2. There's a story there, guys. There's a fucking story. My evil plans have rubbed off on someone. Evil shenanigans. Enjoy your lurk, Kratos. Yeah, Halloween 6 got me all types of confused with the Thorn. Yeah. Yeah, I have my own theories on Michael. Like I have theories on every single one. I like them. I enjoy them. My second favorite is Bubba, and I have an entire thing on Bubba and his family. So there's so much to unpack there. We will do Coffin Chat's subjects on that as well. I'm just figured I'd do Friday the 13th because it's my number one, right? I didn't like X. I hated 8 the most. Some people don't like X. I loved X. I loved X when I first seen X. I thought it was great. But yeah, I have no answers from Part 1 Jason to Part 2 Jason finding the house part, right? I do have answers, whether or not they're right or wrong. It's my fandom. It's my opinion. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with me. That's just my fandom. I believe that he was able to utilize and live off the land from the stuff that he learned at the camp, being a camper, learning. I do believe he survived his drowning. I survived a drowning. I think he could have survived a drowning and washed up on shore and lived off the land from the stuff that he kind of learned, you know? And if you see it from a kid's eyes, having your mother's head cut off in front of you, which is where I believe that trauma came into play. I also believe that Jason doesn't fully become supernatural until about beginning of part 3, like the ending of part 2 into part 3, where he now becomes a little something more, and that's where we get the revenant zombie come into play. But again, that's not tonight. That's not tonight's discussion. Well, if you think about it, Rasputin was shot, poisoned, and stabbed, and he didn't die. Yeah. There's a lot of things out there. I had some guy on Twitter argue with me about Michael Myers. How I said that Michael Myers was supernatural for a long time because he was shot 6 times. He was stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle. He fell off of a house. And I was like, he's supernatural. And then some guy was like, well, 50 Cent was shot, 6 times. Well, guy who was shooting 50 Cent wasn't a fucking cop. Right? He got shot, bullet holes, whatever. Because he was like, he can survive without being supernatural. But anyways, that's not for tonight. I just hope they don't go too into the lore with the show. I think you said it yourself that it's not as scary. Whereas, Sean, I agree with you. I don't want a full-on analysis of the lore and reinvented lore for the prequel. I would love to know about Elias, like you said. Pamela Elias dynamic. We know there was a dynamic there. We know Jason had a father. We have a lot of lore, and in the novels we have information about Elias. I would like to know a little bit about that dynamic, and I would love to know about Crazy Ralph. I would love to know some history on Camp Crystal Lake. Do I want it to be a American First Nations curse? No, I don't. Is that something that they could go to? Most likely. It is an easy thing, and we do know that America was inhabited by First Nations before the settlers came over. That could be a thing. However, we don't have to go back that far. That curse could have happened from a group of witches that had their coven there that was annihilated by a bunch of like crazy Catholic people. I don't know. We can do a whole bunch of shit. Someone asked me once if Jason Voorhees could teleport because he was always showing up in places he couldn't. Hi, Ray of effing sunshine. Welcome back. I wouldn't say teleportation, but we know horror movie logic. In horror movie logic, the killer is always running, walking. Even though he looks like he's walking, he's really fucking running. And I don't understand how they do that, but they've got like crazy major villain energy or something. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. Well, Loomis wasn't a cop, but I'm sure he learned how to shoot pretty well, given his gloomy and totally justified obsession with Michael. He would have to know shit. Custos. Both of his damn eyes. Exactly. He got stabbed in the fucking neck. In the goddamn neck with the friggin' knitting needle. Yeah. Exactly. Also, Hollywood takes too easy way out when explaining things. 100% Deadwalk. 100%. I hate when I pass one part of the highway home and I always lose 4G about 2 minutes. I'm back. Welcome back, Riggs. But yes, Ray, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We were just talking about Friday the 13th, part 1, 1980 Pamela. My theory and thesis on it. And we were also earlier in tonight, we were talking about the copycat killer of Friday the 13th, actually Jason Voorhees, copycat killer of Jason Voorhees, not technically Friday the 13th. The article got it wrong. Actually, several articles got it wrong because it wasn't 1980 because that would have been Pamela. Pamela did not have a Jason mask. He didn't get it until part 3. So I had to fix those facts. Oh, you've been lurking. Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for the lurk. I like to give a rundown. Love your knowledge. Goes so deep. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm passionate about horror. It's what I do in my spare time. Is I I read things. I watch a lot of horror movies. I read about horror. It's just something that I enjoy doing in my off time. I have a lot of, I call useless horror knowledge because it doesn't help me in my everyday life, but it's some cool shit that I know. But yeah, that is what I think. What happened to, the whole part of Pamela and Jason, that's what I think in part 1. I honestly am hoping for some really good shit in prequel that we're getting in 2024. Wade, are you going to do a new Friday talk every week or just once in a while? I am not sure, but I would like to do you guys want that? You know what? Let's talk about it. Okay, when I make changes to the channel, I always consult the Horde. Why? Because we're all in this together. This is not just my channel. You guys come in here, you spend your time and your energy here. So it's just as much your channel as it is my channel. And the changes that I do make, I always speak to the Horde with. I'll put polls up in the Discord. I'll ask questions. What do you guys want? Do you want Wednesday nights to have a not a category? Do you want it to have a topic? Do you want me to do these things? Do you want me? Because that's a lot of chapters in the Friday the 13th franchise. Leatherface, Hellraiser, all of that. And I've got fandom coming out the wazoo. I love horror myself, but I enjoy the deep dive. Gives a different perspective. 100% Ray. And I love when other people talk with me about horror. Sometimes I'll have friends come on Coffin Chat and we will discuss horror. And I love having the different point of views. I love seeing fandom from other eyes. I think it's great because we all learn something. Whether or not we agree on the fandom, we all learn something from that fandom. We have a coffee chat that's coming back. We do, Riggs. January 7th, Coffee Chat of Horrors comes back full time. This past Sunday, we did our deep dive in Shaun of the Dead, which is up on YouTube right now. I love that one, by the way. I had a lot of fun. With that one. Personally, I find the perspective and analysis fascinating. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I love listening to that kind of stuff as well. I like it when people talk about their fandom. It gives you an insight behind what they're thinking in, when they watch a horror movie. I have a lot of fandom. Like, I have a ton. Some are more in-depth than others, especially my favorites. I do like Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I really have a fucking theory on that shit, just like I do with Friday. Good evening, Speedy. How are you? I'm doing great. Doing fabulous. We're just talking about Friday the 13th. The first one, the chapter first one. You got the hiccups, sorry. These rundowns are pretty fun discussion. It would be cool for not just Friday, but with a lot of other horror series, that would be cool. I know some series have a lot of movies though. So whereas I know that and I love that shit, I can tell you right now, I can probably do a full year's worth of content on just a few franchise. Glares at Deadbeat, I mean Deadwalk. Do you know when tickets go on sale for Calgary HorrorCon? Is going to be a birthday present. Yes, Dr. Metal God. I know Dan is in the process of redoing the website. I believe tickets will be able to go on sale come January. Don't quote me on it. I know we ourselves, I have been waiting for a definite answer because as of right now, the website's still under construction. However, I'm hoping, and we were told by January. Friday the 13th is my absolute favorite. Mine too, unoriginal. It's my numero uno. I have a really big collection. And a lot of that is Friday the 13th. For franchises that have loads of chapters, you could take some of your most pressing thoughts and ideas rather than going through each chapter. Deadwalk, I was thinking that great minds think alike. Like, what are you reading my fucking mind? I was thinking that I could actually compress some of them because, there's a few of them that don't have, I have a lot to say about the franchise. However, if we ever talk about Jason Goes to Hell, that will set me off. I'm not gonna lie. Manhattan won't set me off as much. And I love Jason X, and I can really get deep into Jason X and the lore. Hi, Anu. How are you feeling? Are you out of the hospital? but I could condense things. Like I could really do part 2 and part 3 and like kind of, you know, and then like 4 and 5 kind of deal. $1 panties. Welcome to the crypt. Thank you for the follow. Some victims on my last game were annoying. Murdered them all. I'll try to stay out of your thoughts during certain times. You don't want to see what's all up in this bitch. Yeah, you've been out since Monday. Good. Are you feeling better? Mine too. Unoriginal. It's not my first horror movie, but it's my favorite. Part 3 is my most favorite. And that right here, that's part 3, Jason Voorhees. That's a Shallow Graves FX Hawk. It's gorgeous, and it was given to me by, it was sent to me by my really, really good friend, Pixie, the Lament Butterfly. That is one of my favorite fucking pieces in the world right there. That is one of my favorite pieces. Do you want to see him up close? Do you want to see him up close? Hey, I'll show you him. He has eyelashes.
ReAnimateHer.
Yes, he has ear hair. Yes, the back of his head looks like the head of a penis. So when I first got him, I carried him everywhere. We sat on the couch together. He slept in my bedroom. But he is very well made. Shallow Graves FX is where this was made. My boyfriend would love that. He's really good. To be honest, I felt fine going in. The kidney doctor called me and told me to go to the ER after this on my blood results. That's good that they were looking after you, Anu.
Almost every hand you've ever shaken has had a dick in it.
Well, if you look at him from the back, kind of, you know, a lopsided head. I don't know. But yeah, this is my Jason. We do have an ad break, guys. I do apologize for the ad break, but we do have one. He is very well made. Like his eyes are, now, if you ever look, his eyes are 2 different colors. In this mask, in this hawk, his eyes are 2 different colors. He has eyelashes, bottom eyelashes, top eyelashes. He has ear hair and ickiness like wax. His mouth and teeth, they feel friggin' real. Like when I used to have Snap Camera, it would recognize his face and steal my face cam, like my face filters. But he's very well made, and Shallow Grave FX does amazing work. Like really amazing work. Go and check them out. Go to Google Shallow Graves FX. No, they're not cheap by any means, but anything that's made of quality is never cheap. That son of a bitch, right? Right? I love this guy. All right, Speedy, I will spin that wheel for you. Oh, and yeah, see, they inside, he signs it as well. This is the guy who made it. He signs it.
Thank you for going on a
It's your lucky day, fella. We want to pump you up.
Oh, Speedy, ew. Deadwalk, thank you so very much for sacrificing the soul of Regal Oncer to the Horde. Mwah, thank you very, very much. Maybe it's real, right? Unoriginal? You just never know. But I have a lot of masks. I have a lot of Jason masks as well. So here is the wheel for Speedy Misha. Remember, it's not going to show up on the overlay, guys. It's going to show up in the chat what we win. What do you got for me today, you snarky fuck? I'm talking to the wheel. This wheel likes to screw me over. We gotta wait for it in the chat, though. Fuck. Stream Elements hates me. Friggin' hates me. I don't like that wheel. I don't like the effing wheel. Hi, Tefling. How are you? Guessed it right. That wheel, I hate it. I dislike it 110% because it always screws me over. Punch it. I punch it right in the dick. I would if it had one. These Sour Patch Kids can. These sour things. I don't know what the fuck they are. They're Sour Patch Kids. They look like, I don't know, tiny tuna can penises. That's exactly what they look like. But anyways, there it is. Bruh. I was literally just waiting out my Prime sub. It renews today. Thanks, buddy. The new wheel is great. I know you'd like the new fucking wheel. I don't like it. Not a real... This is enough sour. This is enough sour. Oh, feed it to Chucky? Oh. I'm waiting for that motherfucker to move one day. Oh. I love you, babe, but you could take two. Yeah. Disgusting. Yeah, gross. 2024 seems like it's going to start out with a big bang. Oh, that was gross. For fans of pro wrestling, TNA wrestling is coming back. It's going to be awesome. Right on, Anu. We found spicy Sour Patch Kids for her. Eat a dick monkey. Because that is not happening. My ass ain't buying them. Nope. All I hear when I come back. 5 subs for a nasty bean still? Oh. I don't know, Speedy. I don't know. Maybe. I think warheads are disgusting. I have them. I also have these.
ReAnimateHer.
I know you have no issue buying them. These are disgusting because not only do you get screwed when you put one of these in your mouth, the middle of it is nasty sour liquid. I didn't realize that when I got these. I don't like sours. I don't. I hate them. But I buy them because it's entertaining for you guys to watch me eat them. And it's a fun thing that we do in the stream. We have the Wheel of Terror. And it doesn't cost you anything. It just costs you channel points that you earn in here for hanging out. So I think it's just a fun way to torture the shit out of me. And the Horde loves it. So why not, right? You should be able to clip it. My bed is calling me and we passed the house for the store. Bruh, I'm being held hostage. Riggs, I hope you get to go home soon and rest. I actually do love warheads. You know, there's some of you sick people out there, like my spawn loves warheads. I don't understand. She used to eat these like crazy. Well, after getting burned by AEW, after pouring my heart into it, I hope it goes with a bang because I miss watching pro wrestling. I miss the WWF back in the day, like Glow and Captain Lou Albano. I miss Andre the Giant and Jake the Snake and Roddy Piper. That is when I fucking loved wrestling. That was the shit. I don't know about nowadays. I stopped watching that shit a long time ago. Once it stopped being the WWF. Yes. My favorite was, I did love Captain Lou Albano. I loved him. Little fucking rubber bands and his shit and everything. Oh, and by the way, don't worry. We won't run out of these because, you know, my dumbass went to a wholesale store and, well, I bought this. So we still have like, how many came in here? I don't know how many came in here, but we still have a shit ton of these left. The spawn ate about 1 bucket of them. So, Junkyard Dog, yes. Hot Rods hits him with the photo. Did you see that match with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland at Full Gear? Shit was brutal. I know a lot of people who like the wrestling now. I don't know what it's called now. I don't WWE, something like that. AEW. I'm not really sure what it's called. I loved the old wrestling, and I really loved Glow. Glow was a lot of fun back in the day. But yeah, Speedy, by the way, I know you're a content creator. Hold on, I gotta give Speedy Misha a shout out, guys. I'm really bad at giving people shout outs because I completely forget. But Speedy Misha is a content creator here on Twitch. They get down and dirty with some games like Starfield. If you see above in the chat, you should see a little follow. You can go and click that, or click the link in the chat. If you click the link in the chat, it'll bring you to their page. Check out their profiles, see their about me, see their VODs. If you vibe with it, hit that follow button. I know 10 minutes. Bret Hart. Yes, Bret Hart. He lives in Calgary. WWE is crap. No story, no good backstories or location shoots. Yeah, I don't like it either. Welcome back, She Kratos. Probably near the end, but bonjour. Welcome back. I'm just trying to catch up here. Woman, 10 minutes. Flip, back on track. I know, I'm getting there. I wanted to tell Speedy, because I know Speedy's a content creator, start making shit on YouTube, Speedy, because YouTube is now giving content creators who are partnered 5 memberships a month to give away to people in their community. Okay. It's funny that you mentioned Starfield when it did not win Game of the Year, seeing Todd's face. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't win Game of the Year. It's an ugly job, but someone's got to do it. Yep. Definitely. Yep, no worries, Speedy. I kind of figured I'd let you know. Always a huge... I loved Undertaker. Undertaker was awesome. Starfield doesn't deserve. I've never played it. I can't make any judgment on the game. But yes, we got 10 minutes, guys. So my wrap up for Friday the 13th, 1980 Part 1. I am totally on the side of Pamela Voorhees being a victim. I also am, my fandom is that Jason did survive his drowning and survived it. And when he woke up from that incident, he saw his mother's head get lopped off. Also, the Copycat Killer, crazy shit to know. In 1988, in, what do we say, Greenfield, Massachusetts, a guy named Mark Branch murderized a young woman by the name of Sharon. He jumped into his horror outfit, which was a Jason, Friday the 13th Jason mask from Part 3, and went there and literally murdered this young woman. She was 19, he was 18. He then unalived himself, and they found him on the 24th of November. And I love that game. Nice. So what do you think Pamela found? She didn't find the Necronomicon. That is a bullshit fucking story. Bullshit story. I can feel my blood pressure rising and my ears getting pink. I can feel the blood, Zach. I can feel it flowing up. Wrestling talk, sorry if you don't get it. Dr. Herbert West is a bot. I knew. Just to let you know. A bot. I hug you right back, Anu. Starfield is a mess, and if Baldur's Gate 3 didn't win, I think there would have been chaos in the streets. I haven't played either. She found these nuts. I don't believe anything about Jason Goes to Hell and Pamela finding the... You want to know something that makes Jason Goes to Hell such a shitty chapter in the franchise is the fact that Pamela was a single mom. There was no fucking Voorhees house. Elias ran off and was a traveling fucking hobo. There was no fucking Voorhees home. Oh, yeah. No, let's not get into it, because then I won't sleep tonight. That will be for another day. We will, if you guys enjoyed this kind of thing, I will bring this into my streams. We can do all different types of chapters, however you guys want. If you want me to continue with Friday the 13th and then finish the franchise, who just shit themselves? Anu. D's sent. But Long live. How are you? Long live. I hope you're having a good hump day. Jason Goes to Hell is. Oh my lord. Yeah, you smell what the Rock is cooking. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell is absolute trash. Don't get me wrong. I do like some of the things in Jason Goes to Hell. However, Jason is not a fucking worm. He is not a deadite. Not at all. And I will murder on this hill and stay here that he is not a fucking deadite just because one asshole made a fucking film and put his own goddamn opinion into it. But that is another night. Not tonight. Regal Knees will get you every fucking time. Yeah, when Regs is here. So we will do, what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to do the whole franchise and then go on to a new franchise, or mix it up? Like do next Coffin Chat, do something else. And the next one, do another one. Then bring it back to like part 2 of the second chapter of that horror movie. I am glad you found us as well, Unoriginal. I am a huge horror fan, if you haven't figured that out yet. All I do is create horror content. I run a show. I'm the host of Coffee Chat of Horrors, which comes back in January full time every Sunday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We deep dive into horror movies. We just got done doing Shaun of the Dead. That VOD is up on YouTube if you want to check that out. But I do love doing deep dives into horror films and TV shows, so we do that here as well. And Wednesday nights is my Just Chatting stream. It's Coffin Chat. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, I do play horror video games like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Martha is Dead. I'm gonna hoping be playing Alan Wake 2. In the end, I powered through and watched all Friday the 13th movies in one sitting, plus the one documentary on Halloween. But Jason Goes to Hell almost made me quit. I don't blame you, dude. I'd love to do a whole franchise. What are you thinking? I'm down for whatever. I love this shit. I can do this all day long and talk horror all day long. You like franchise comebacks? Rod's heart rate was probably about 120. Yeah, 127 easily. I felt the blood rising. My ears were turning red. I don't know if you can see it. Shaun of the Dead was good. Shaun of the Dead is great. Great. Hey, Dahi, how are you?
Oh, hello.
Hi, 8-Bit. How are you? But yeah, I am down for whatever you guys want to do. We can do full franchise. I can kind of condense a couple of them because they can be condensed. I'm not going to lie. There's not a lot of like deep lore in some of the chapters. However, the telekinesis shit, I love that one as well. I can undo a lot in that one. Evil Jason Rising. Kratos. We're doing good, 8-Bit. We're doing good. Klepto says hi. Hi, Klepto. Oh, the lights did turn off. They actually did work. But yeah, I am down for whatever. We can, like, next Wednesday we can do another chapter, part 2 and part 3, or I can do, you guys can throw one out there. Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I fucking love Hatchet. Okay, love Hatchet. Unoriginal. My murder basement is messy. Oh god, it's messy. I was gonna show you my murder basement, but I don't know now. Almost. I wasn't even looking, Kratos. I vote Hellraiser or TCM. You know what? Let's do a poll. I don't mean really do a poll, but let's do a poll. All right, so next poll. Next Coffin Chat. How do I do a fucking poll? Yeah, it should be.
The benefits are great, but the screamiums will kill you.
Dylan, thank you for your 41 months. Oh my god, thank you. Mwah. I appreciate it. I geek over Hellraiser. I fucking love Hellraiser. I know a lot about that too because I read the books. Species, I love Species. I like the franchise of Species. I did a deep dive Coffee Chat of Horrors a couple of years back on that movie. You're doing good? That's awesome. I think that bloody hand jump scare has to be louder, like Serial's jump scares. I can make them louder, guys. I can. I just make them loud for me. Hellraiser needs something like 6 months to delve into, and There's a lot of lore in Hellraiser. Like, if you've read the Hellbound Heart, you read the Scarlet, there are a couple of books that novellas that you should read if you haven't read them. There are 3 that you should read. Hellbound Heart is just one of them. But there is quite a bit, and it is 8:30. Night Raw, I'm starting to get a migraine. Sweet screams, Running Bear. I hope you feel better. What always gets me is the pressure valve and TCM. Yes, it does. I know that pressure valve gets you. Okay, so poll 1, open a set up menu to create a poll. Okay, here we go. Here we're gonna do coffin, next coffin chat. Let's see, next coffin before we head out. Hellraiser part 1 lore. Almost, but I'm in the middle of writing. Or TCM part 1. You guys, we're gonna do the vote for 3 minutes, and we're gonna start it now. If you want to vote and have a say in next Wednesday's, I don't know, can I do a poll here on YouTube? I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't think I can. Oh, I can start a poll. Coffin chat next Wednesday's topic will be Hellraiser part 1 or TCM part 1. And do you guys vote? Where do we vote for Twilight part 1? If you really wanted a Twilight, I would do one for you. I would. You know I would, Zach. I would do it just for you. I'm supposed to watch that, right? And do a reaction video. I've never seen Twilight. Full franchise sounds good. We will definitely do that. No, I'm good. No twinklight. Blah, no twatlight. That's funny. So far, Hellraiser is winning on both sides. Hellraiser is winning on YouTube and on Twitch. I recently rewatched the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they did an amazing job with the accuracy of the house in the game, in my opinion. Ray, they did amazing in the video game. Hey, Speedy! On the YouTube side of things, it looked like Hellraiser is winning on both ends, like both sides. You guys really want some Hellraiser. This would be my theory, my opinions in our conversation. We can always do a CCOH again on Hellraiser. I have done deep dives into it. Not a Twilight. You're not missing out on Twatlight. They all lie. They love the movie. They probably all do, Ashley. Secretly. But yes, it looks like Hellraiser part 1 lore. Dylan, oh my goodness, thank you for your 3 stream streak. I appreciate it. Unoriginal, I don't know if you're still here. I was going to ask you, while this poll is up, do you want to see my murder basement? My murder basement is messy. I'm not going to lie. 3-month streak. I know, 3 stream streak is amazing. Thank you, Deadwalk, for telling me. You want to see it, right? I'll show you. I love showing off my murder basement. It is messy, so prepare yourselves for a mess. Also don't want to make any motion sickness. I love Dexter as well. You should see my coasters. I've got these really cool coasters. Don't mind the body. The haunt man. Haunt. Oh, there we go. The American Horror Story mask is a classic, especially because he died. Yeah. Freddy's hand, yes, I have a Freddy's glove. I have a lot of stuff, and that's just my murder basement, not including my living room and my other rooms. I love Dexter. Actually, I have some of the comics of Dexter. I also have these really cool coasters. They're glass. They're like the blood slides that he collects. I'll take a picture of it, and if you're in my Discord, I'll put it in Discord, or I know I have a picture of it on my Instagram. If you ever want to check that out, they're really cool coasters. They're glass, and they look like blood slides, and they come in a brown wooden box like his blood slides came into. Amazing. I wish I had a murder basement to put all my shit in. I'm running out of space. I have way too much, Ray, so this is my murder basement. However, I've got horror throughout my entire house because I've got a lot of shit. Thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate it. That American, yeah, I love American Horror Story. They are so amazing. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I love the coaster slides, right? It's fucking awesome. Beautiful beauty collectibles, Raw. Thank you very much, Stormy. Did you know how Dexter is based off of the real life killer Pedro Rodriguez? That is, it's pretty cool to see who inspires what. There's a lot of lore behind Dexter, believe it or not, guys. I even have a Dexter action figure. I don't know if you've seen it as I was panning through my murder basement, but I have a Dexter action figure. I do have Dexter's whatchamacallit comic book. It is. We're going to get to that time, right? I thought it was so interesting. There's a lot of shit about Dexter. We should get into that on another coffin chat. How many horror tattoos? I have a couple, but there's the one that you can see is Jason right there. The way I have him on my arm, right? That's the only one you can see. I know I'm doing it. I'm doing it. If you're watching me over on the TikTok side of things, thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. You guys don't have credits here, so I'm just going to sign off over on TikTok. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will slash you later on the TikTok side of things. Boom, that's done. All right, let's go into our credits. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it over on YouTube and here on Twitch. I really love talking about and discussing horror, so I do hope you guys enjoy it as well and you don't find it boring. I do love sharing my passion for horror with you guys. It's a lot of fun for me, and I get to talk about my favorite fucking subject. You were enjoying the tornado chat, damn it. Thank you for being here, Deadwalk. Thank you for being here, Reegs and Heavy. I appreciate you guys taking the time out and coming in.
ReAnimateHer.
Ray of effing Sunshine, thank you for being here. Beam Bun and your hubby, thank you for being here as well. Eccentric, thank you for being here. Whereas, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. Dylan, I love your guts, my friend. Thank you for being here. Speedy Misha and Steve, Zombie Box Reviews, Dun Peel, I hope you're having fun getting that here, did. Thank you guys for hanging out over on the YouTube side of things. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come here, out of billions and billions of fucking creators on this app and on YouTube. You guys chose to come here to hang out with me on your hump day night. I am so grateful for that. Thank you so very much for the chats. I really do. Stormy, thank you for being here. Ashley girl, thank you for being here. Thank you for your resub, by the way, as well. Let's see. I want to keep scrolling up. Monkey Van Meowerton, stay tapping. Thank you guys for being here and sharing your time with me. Dahi and Klepto, I hope you have a good night. Thank you for popping in and chilling with us. Next Coffin Chat will be Hellraiser, guys. We're going to go into my thesis on Hellraiser. So that'll be our next Coffin Chat, which will be next Wednesday. Also, don't forget, next Friday is our Krampus celebration in the Discord. If you're not sure what that is, if you're in the Discord, check out the events tab, because that is where the Krampus holiday party is. It's not going to be live on Twitch or anything. It's just for the community inside the Discord. So we will have my webcam on. We will play, Jackbox Party, What the Dub, and all that other happy stuff like that. Dylan, thank you for your 41-month resub. Deadwalk, thank you for sacrificing the soul of Regal. Dravenral, thank you for the raid. B-Bomb, thank you for your 3-month resub. Aurora Glenn for your 33-month resub. Ashley Girl for your 2-month resub. And I appreciate your time, guys. Monkey Van Meowerton for your 34-month resub. I appreciate it. Let me just scroll down here because I see you people are chatting still. Good night, everybody. Sweet screams. Oh, Naughty, you are, darling. I hope you have a good hump day. I will see you, though, on Friday at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Still not really sure what the hell we're playing that day, but we're going to do something horror-related, something spooky. You have an amazing night. Sweet screams. Have an awesome Thursday. Movie night tomorrow night in the Discord. So if you have the movie roll, we'll be hanging out watching horror. Sweet screams and pleasant nightmares. I will see you guys in the Discord on Thursday night, and I will see you live here on Twitch and on YouTube on Friday at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Until next time, my creepies, I will slash yous all later. Bye.